go. Give me. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Kimberly Cloud Show. I'm your host, Kimberly Cloud. Since I cannot simultaneously play it back to back without one ending after the other, usually what I do is I'll go live and get on my platform where I'm addressing just Kick and some other platforms, which all are great. And then I'll get on my main platform. But today I accidentally hit that button, which means that I don't need to be near a presidential button for bombing stuff. Because I'm like, I hit it. And once you make an error like that, that's a calculated decision, y'all. You can't just have any Joe Blow sitting up there. I met a man at Vandenberg. It was an Asian. They come in handy that he was actually the man that pressed the button, one of the many that pressed the button in certain sectors. I was like, dang, he walked with me. It was a great event, but I didn't come in here to talk about that. I didn't even come in here to joke about that. That's nothing to joke about. And what I did come in here to talk about and gain traction with you guys is SEO versus GEO. Which one of these tools are more important, or are they both important? You have search engine optimization versus, I forgot what it's called because I'm still getting familiar. I knew it was that, but I just didn't want to. I would have messed it up. I said generational and it's generative engine optimization. This is, and there's many more out there, y'all. There's many more things I don't know. But because I'm seeking answers, lots of answers in such a short period of time, I'm like, I need these answers. I want to grow. Even when I get into my classes, I like, for instance, before I get started with SEO versus generative engine optimization, I I went to Coursera. And I sat up there, and I have they got a full blown class for $45 on Grok. You get a certificate from beginner to intermediate, 6 hours. I mean, I'll be sitting here doing nothing but constantly forcing myself to read. Great material. And I'm like, before I get started with class, is it worth it? I think it is. Before class starts June 5th, I want to take a class on Grok to get the best and the most out of what is optimized with Grok. Now, before I get into SEO versus GEO, there was a thing. There wasn't just anything. There was this segment on Waymo cars. And it talked about how they were going around and around in a specific sweet spot in an area near Atlanta. And I'm like, at first I'm like, I don't want to hear it because Waymo cars is cool to me. But this ball drops on the producers. Come out with a new production of the vehicles. It's something over there that they're seeking, and it's something that Google or whoever they're equipped with GPS is getting mixed up. And then there was this guy coming from the airport that sat up there and got out of a Waymo car, and then it opened the trunk, and the Waymo car took off. Imagine that your luggage and you know. So get equipped with better technology, and we won't have this problem. It's not the Waymo cars' fault. You're the creator of Waymo cars. We're not. I I would build something if I had the money. I would build something inexpendable, something that really like a White House Waymo car, something that is going to be here forever. You don't think you think the White House is about to go bankrupt anytime soon? No. So yeah. So back to GEO and SEO, or SEO and GEO. Search engine optimizations, you put your backlinks. We all know, some of us know. You put your backlinks on there, and you rank high on Google. When your name populates, that site's like, ooh, I love it. But it's actually biased in a sense, like Elon was saying, because as much work as I've put into Google, as much work, I've been spat out at least 45% of my material has not been broadcast, such as my business links and everything. So I said to myself, I said, what's GEO? Generative Engine Optimization. Well, it's when you get AI together and AI ranks you. Even though this is search engine optimization, how many people search for you, generative engine optimization, which goes hand in hand with each other, which means AI, based on what you code through Google rich result tests, the Google rich result tests. You can check your website on there, and they will be able to show you how you rank on Google. Now, you're supposed to do that you're supposed to code it through schema, which teach you basic code for coders who want to learn more, who probably took a class. Well, I didn't take a class. This stuff was looking foreign to me. I was like, what am I saying? So one part of it, out of all parts, I could have asked for many more parts, which I will. I sat up there and I reversed it. I said, let me reverse engineer like a white person would. Well, let me see what this is about. And so I checked it out, and bam, it happened. They told me that this is basic beginner. It's beginner, and let me read it exactly how it was. Give me a second. Intermediate is next. No, elementary. Okay. Beginner and elementary. First 2 weeks of learning HTML, basic HTML tags, links, headings, and paragraphs. So there we got it in one nutshell of how coding begins, beginner and elementary. So I learned something, which is the anchor tag, which is one of the very first things people learn when studying HTML. I couldn't put it the right way on YouTube because YouTube don't accept those things. But it's definitely entry level web development. You have to know that. I'm like saying in my hey, well, what else can I learn? What else can I learn? But before I go to school, of course. But let me show you how it look. I haven't shared this thing in a while. This one. Look at that beauty. You see the pattern? This is the basic pattern, then it gets harder. And I saw it. The A tag. A at the beginning, A at the end. You just learned a beginner level HTML. Let me show you on here too. Boom, chicka, boom, chicka, boom, chicka. And then we're going to just take you out real quick. Right here. The beginning right here is an A. The ending is an A. And that's all I know. That's all someone like me knows. But at least I noticed it. This is beautiful. You can only imagine the stuff I asked this thing. Oh my God, I took it off the air. Oh, how nice is that? And I want to show y'all something else. I hope it's no proprietary information. I doubt it. Let's take that risk. Think about it. I didn't put no credit card information in. Okay. So I want to keep up with this. This is basically crazy the way it's called Monday. It kept coming up on my video feed. So I said, let me try to put something together, but I just don't know how to send the messages. If I knew how to send the messages of what proposed dates are coming up without, I could easily ask Grok. Easily. I didn't even have to pay a subscription for this. This is basic, which is very intelligent, highly sophisticated piece of technology in this thing. Like, it's crazy the stuff that they got in here for free. I still haven't even did my email address. I want to see how that do a little bit. Oh yeah, that's what I wrote this, but it was all jammed up. What is this? What is this? What is that? What is this? Oh, yeah. Cool. Whoa. What is this? I was watching Cops because I was trying to figure out where Little Rock is. How did I not know Little Rock was in Arkansas? What is this? Oh, oh, proprietary. Okay. And this is, wait. This is code, basically, what I just did, but this is English code. And I just had to do this. Look at that. This is one kind of code. And this is what you do. Schema. What I was just talking about. I never heard of these schemas. Dang. I want to know more. What is a schema? I know it's a code, but these must be. Go back up. Go back up. Where is it at? Where is it at? I think that's right. Where's the schemas? Right here. Next level, step 9. Video object schema. Episode schema. Code. You're coding it. Okay, let me ask. Is coding done in step 9 with schema? How does that work? How? It's asking. Let me rewrite. Let me copy because tell me chat GPT about step 9 with schema and the steps towards advance. Okay. Okay. Good. Mm. Mm-hmm. Wow. You said what I said. I didn't know this. It's crazy. Oh, I keep forgetting about you guys. All the open AI. What's the API? You see what I'm saying? I can't wait to get to that part. This is what we need to do. People, you see what I look up? Oh, look at that. That's beautiful. Where would you put that? This is beginner friendly coding. Where your website talks to AI. Dang. I want to learn that so bad. Okay. It's not as easy as it looks. Okay. Let me get out of here before I get stuck. I'll be getting stuck. Wow, that's amazing. Mm, not finished. You get recognized in AI databases like Grok, ChatGPT, and Gemini and stuff that will be an honor. And it's highly effective for improving AI generated responses by building authoritative rankings and so much more. By implementing schema markup and passing the rich results test, you don't just improve rankings, you also get recognized, like I said, in AI databases. This significantly boosts credibility, trust. I'm excited about learning how to code these elements myself, but I'm also fortunate enough to have the BBB team ready to upgrade and adjust my website. Without the BBB team, my site wouldn't be where it is today. Thank you again to the BBT and everything you do. I may have older videos, but I'm happy to start fresh after my hiatus. I also have a special guest confirmed at May 19th at 3 p.m. Mountain Time. I am really looking forward to that. I've also learned about, like I said, the A tag, which is beginner elementary level HTML. It appears at the beginning and end a give me a second. Ha 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 ha. Where was I at? It appears at the beginning and end of each link code, which makes perfect sense. Not every link code, but certain link codes. I just can only imagine what kind of link codes they have. I'm happy with my progress so far. Next month or possibly sooner, I'll be earning a certificate from the Coursera course. I really want to get into the Coursera course, you guys. It will be so much cool. Like, just to take the Grok comprehensive guide from basics to advanced features. Don't you want to learn about whoever you're typing to, or do you just feel it's just some type of tool that you can just use and abandon when you feel like it? Like, this machine has helped a lot of people, with papers, with rewriting them, like, and encouraging them to what format is needed for APA. Like, this thing has helped me tremendously. And when I got to UMGC, then it all got stuck because it was like, I took a statistics class and it was like, whoa, what happened? All got stuck. It all got stuck. And I still haven't read what the VA sent to me as far as the resolution for what I want to get done because I'm afraid, because I complain. I personally want my money back. When you get that close to a master's and someone extract it and take it away based on emotion of how they feel about what I have to say as the millionth student or plus in their college, it's straight lunatic. It's straight ridiculous. That is loony to me, how a college can do this and get away with this. And who imagine if you were a student overseas and you stepped out of line. Or maybe they got some type of clause that if you're overseas, you're good. Maybe they got some kind of clause if you're in the military, you're good. But if you're a veteran like me, who may not know much about government politics, what else, economics, law, congressional things, not everything. Because I don't know that, I get treated like, oh, why is she doing this? I know enough, right? You can't agree, right? Someone like me know enough to put her name on something. Someone like me know enough to do what I've done. Look at the banner, for crying out loud. You think I just said, think of some savvy new way to do this? No. I said specifically, which I was filming, make it Mandarin code and make it English code. If you looked at it hard enough, you would see that. I take pride in coding my own banners, which Canva is going to come in handy for new intro and outros. I take pride in everything that I do. Um, it's just a sad thing when you get that close and you buy your gear and they tell you you're suspended for taking up for yourself, might I add. For taking up and advocating for yourself, might I add. That I don't get. And if this was any prestigious school, they would want an explanation. So what I did was I filled out a couple of applications before CCU. And I gladly told them the reason why in my own words, in Grok words, rewritten about what happened. Grok records everything I record, and I make sure I write down every little horrific or great event that happens. He can go back, and if I tell him to remember, he can look at my history and gather up what I said previously. And boy, is it piling up. It's very based on you may I won't say that. I can because of your call. You may have been president of that school, but you are not president of the United States of America. Because guess what? You would suffer greatly, especially African American individuals like myself that isn't whitewashed. But that students to talk about races equally as they, they say come as you are. They say come as hold on, hold on. They say come as you are, and that's what we do. We come as we are, but we don't forget the history of what happened unless it's considered to be forgotten based on what happened and what was the reason why it happened. So if you caught with a knife in your hand, don't say I didn't do it. A bloody knife with a body on the ground. Don't say I didn't do it because you hate the cops. Why do you hate the cops so much? You know, I was watching Cops 2026 and the stuff I saw, I cannot believe. I've been watching Cops. I just started picking up on it and I haven't watched it all today, but I just started, I just was like curious to know what crime can actually be committed. Is this acting? I was thinking it was acting. I was thinking it was literally acting at first. Because I said, there's no way that people can do this. One girl, two girls, with both with warrants. I call them not Bonnie and Clyde, but Thelma and Louise on the run in Little Rock, Arkansas, just driving. They got 10 officers driving behind, and they just driving. They could have got shot up. Anything could have happened. And they just driving, and they decide to pull over. And the officer, I forgot his name, get out. And he says, ma'am, I don't know how they talk. They made her go back up and then they arrested them. Both had warrants. And it was over before it even began. I'm like, dang. I don't ever want to get to that position where I got warrants and I'm running from the law. She just didn't know why she didn't want to stop. Just like a Waymo car. She didn't know why she didn't want to stop. She just wouldn't stop. But we knew something was wrong because nobody just sits up there and drive that low. And they both have warrants. So they're off the street temporarily in Little Rock. And then there was this inebriated fella on methamphetamine, might I add, that the officers, it was a one-way, two-way road. It wasn't 4 lanes or 6 lanes. It was a one-way. So one going one route, one going the other in the bar, in the median. And he takes all day. He takes all day to sit up there and pull over. And I'm getting to UMGC in a second. You know, and he gets out the car and they have to run up on him and almost shoot him for something that makes no sense. Like, why are you getting out of the car after having the police on a chase? That's step one. Step two, they said, take your hands out of your pocket. That could have been grounds for shooting. And he did it 5 or 4 times, might I add. So they come to find out he had a little meth on him. And they told him multiple times. And he kept saying, I am. And they kept going back. That is how disgusting this drug is. Where was he going to drop it? Right in their face. How is he going to drop it? Right in their face. But the drug itself got him willing to reach in his pockets and get shot for no reason. 2 girls on bicycles without lights was just riding bicycles, and this guy, and then I got one more, and I'm gonna get off of here. This officer, he said, "Hey, what are you doing?" And she started talking about, nothing, and that you could tell they were like bonded, and it's like, wow, this is a bond. They were gay. I'm gay, but it's okay. We're gay. It is what it is. There and hate them because that's what they do. So, you know, they sitting up there and they're on the bus. And I said, well, hey, are yeah, what the drugs? And they go, really? Oh, hold on. Sorry about that. So hopefully this one don't mess up. So he says, "Are you free from drugs?" And they're like, "Yeah, yeah, 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 yeah." And then he goes, "Let me search your bag." And I'm like, "No, no, no." And and I'm like, "Okay, this isn't making any sense. You're free from drugs." And at first, I thought it was just a glitch. Maybe she had some stuff she didn't want to show, like uh, laundry and stuff. So I'm still looking at the screen, and then it comes out. He sees the needle in there. You cannot hide a needle, And he's like, "What is this?" And she's like, "It smells if I do a very minimum." And then the grand finale, he pulls out this rock this big. And I said, "What the fuck? What the fuck?" And I said, "What is going on?" And he's like, "Jackpot." And I'm like, "Dang, wow." And then they sit up there and they arrest her. And then the last one, this officer, he goes, and this woman is trespassing and done it 10 times. And now it will, if she does it again, and this is all 2026 stuff, she is trespassing on her ex-husband's ground. They have 2 kids plus an adopted child together. And she is saying that he wanted her to come over. And then she said that what the state government has, the restraining order the state government has put on them is invalid because she went to the Supreme Court to get it just adjudicated or something. And I'm like, whoa, this is what she's telling. This is what they do. You know, they waste officer time. He literally gave her leeway. But she kept like with a shovel. Imagine someone with a shovel just digging themselves digger in a hole, in a hole. And you're like, wow, how did I get here? I can't get out. You know, it was going on and on. And he's like, look, I don't want to hear what you have to say. But then, wait, one more. A bunch of officers. I gotta give it to the Hispanic men and women, plus the white men and women. Not it's equal, but dang, another Hispanic male. He was ready to do something. He was an officer. He busts open the door because this guy has been slapping around some woman, his girlfriend, in public, and he was harassing people, banging on their doors. And I had this on my other two, but the grandiose ideation or the ideation that he portrayed was, it was hilarious. If you just listen to people talk like officers do, that's a hard job. Like officers do, you would be like, what in the hell? He said he looked dead into the officer's eyes. I do not have the right to remain silent. And I said, no, he didn't just say that. And he said something else. I don't know how he said it, but it was so hilarious. He basically said something about a law and said it in reverse to dig himself in the grave. You know, he's like, the officer like, I don't want to hear this. Like, I don't want to hear this. You're inebriated. You're going to jail. He tried to do everything. He tried to make a big scene saying, what happened? It wasn't me. And then he gets out there and he says that crap. I'm like, what the hell? They can never, except for my vowel language, they can never say, ah. Okay, because of what happened in my past prior history. Yeah, they can say that with someone maliciously and intentfully dousing my stuff with methamphetamine, my weed. Imagine being on methamphetamine and then upping it with weed. That's not a good combination. And being angry too is out of control, and it needs to get off the street. And it's like these people pay their hard-earned money to buy it. No, people gave it to me for free. And it's like, ugh, no, I can't do that. You know, like seriously. Mm-mm. And these people were under the influence of items, and it was like, then last one, and I have to get off here because I want to show you what's out there. It disgusts the crap out of me. This guy, they had to tackle him, and he had a bunch of drugs, and he's hiding in the room. She gave them enough time to hide in a house, and it's meth again. And he made sure, this is how meth heads do. He didn't hide in the shower curtain, but he put the shower curtain. No one leaves the shower curtain fully closed, like closed. He put that item there. He did everything meticulously to the degree where they have to look for him. And maybe they'll just not find him in this closet that exists because of the architecture. Maybe he thought he had stealth and they were going to go away, but they didn't go away. And he defecated on himself. And they showed it. I said, I know these, it's no way I can do that. I cannot do their job of precise listening because I'm afraid I do listen. I listen great, well enough. But to listen to that degree, that requires medicine or some type of technology out of this world. I listen like you, but can I do it on a regular? No. Unless you pay me to do it. No. I already have to listen to myself. I have to listen to people that I love to listen to. But to listen to idiots and drug addicts that defecate on themselves, that don't know why they're running, that don't know nothing, do that on the regular. I mean, it must be hard to go home and just, if you hear a lie, you like, do, like, damn, both male and female. That has to be hard. Everything you do, you're built for it. And don't even crossbreed a police officer with military or military with police officer. That's an even grander thing. And it's like, dang, man, like I couldn't do it. That's a heightened degree of listening. And it took me everything. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. And what they were saying just didn't make sense to me. And it's true. These criminals don't make sense. And they have to listen to that BS. It gets ridiculous. And then one officer tried to educate the meth head. He didn't want to listen. That hurts his ego right there, to have to tell him the truth of where he's going if he don't stop this sick monstrosity. That's what's out there that the officers have to do. People defecate. One guy called him, oh, I forgot about this guy. I won't say his race, but he was calling someone a crackhead. And he was holding his head as he was bleeding, blood everywhere. And they're holding his head. I'm like, yuck. I could hold my son's head. Definitely. He hit his head as a child, and I had to take care of him. That's my blood, my son's blood. But someone that you don't know AIDS or anything, you holding their blood, just like they had to arrest. They were more focused on the arrest than the defecation and smearing of feces on this guy's body. I know he was reeking. And they need to get paid more. They get paid. They need more benefits. That's how I feel, about, and if they don't get more benefits, more safety protocols for them. So people can really think twice before they really mess with an officer. And so we went from SEO to officers, and that was what was on my mind. And it's just crazy, man. I've been watching cops since 92 or 91. Imagine that. First grade, I'm like 6 or 7. Nothing's actually changed so much. Other than, like, at first it used to be funny, but then it's like, dang, is this what we have, what we're up against? And then imagine, imagine them in office like this. And they got some Hakeem Jeffries calling the Supreme Court as if he said they were illegitimate. Like, what do you think you're going to get for that? The mayor of Seattle telling the good billionaires, bye bye. What do you think you're going to get out of that? That is the incompetence we got in our states. Now, they can do something right and go visit the White House and make an agreement to make it peaceful. Trump, you can really do something and make a movement. If you can change the minds of hundreds of Democrats to work with you and not against you. Don't matter who's in office, which Republican is always first in winning. Make a change that can execute history in the making for our grandchildren and beyond Googleplex plus one. That's what I look for. And there I coded at the end, end quote, 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 end quote, however it goes. And I'll leave y'all with that. And yeah, take care.